Hello guys, hope you are doing good. After a long time, I'm back to YouTube. Today, I like to talk about the concept called asynchronous processing in HTTP. So, you guys know asynchronous processing in one request, we'll expect response also, right? We send a request and expect response. It's not much time. Immediately we can expect response. In asynchronous process, we send a request and we won't expect a response immediately. Response will come a different call. So the two calls will there: request in one call and response in other call. This is the basic difference between synchronous and asynchronous in layman terms. Okay. Today I developed applications and I share you the GitHub URL. I strongly recommend download the applications and run applications. Then only you completely understand how you can achieve asynchronous processing in HTTP REST. Okay, let me give a small brief background of what this application is about. Hope you are guys are able to see my screen. So what I'm doing is there are two applications are there. Let me one sec. There is a loan client application and bank application. Usually the clients who want to apply loan, they log into loan client application and submit the application. So application contains what is the uh, monthly income of the applicant and what is the loan amount is expecting. Those details he is sent to the loan submission submit application endpoint. Then what happens is this endpoint will send a request to the actual bank application. Okay, where this is the client loan application. What this endpoint takes the application and put that inside a VM queue, right? And there is a scheduler that runs in a specific intervals in a day, once in a day, twice in a day, thrice in a day, depends upon the bank. And that scheduler will pick up the applications from the VM queue and hand over to other queue where we can process the application. Like we check is the client is eligible for the loan or not. There is some loan criteria, simple criteria I provided, like if monthly income is if the loan amount is 10 times of monthly income. So if the loan amount is 1 lakh, monthly income should be 10,000. If it is below 10,000, the client is not eligible for the loan amount. The simple term criteria I put, and based on that, the criteria it decides, the manager decides if the client is eligible for loan or not. Then once it decides what it is, it sends that response back to the callback endpoint. Now we get question: what is this callback endpoint? How the client knows, the bank applications know the callback endpoint? The answer is, while we sending the application, loan application to the bank, we will send an callback URL. Hey bank, once you complete the review of the client, you can send the response. You can send the loan eligibility response to this URL, right? You can call me back this URL. I'm not expecting your response immediately. Just of your processing, you can send response to the callback endpoint. So I provided this callback endpoint in the initial request only. So then this callback endpoint will send the response back to this callback endpoint in the loan client application. And what happens is when we submit the application, a application unique application ID got generated. For each application, unique application ID got generated. And here for that unique application id, the response is sent back to callback endpoint. This is a client. For this client, for this application id, this is a response, and I'm storing that response in object store as a key as an application id and value as a response. Is the client is eligible to the loan or not, all the stuff, right? And there is status endpoint are there. After the submission of application, the clients will check the status. What happened to the loan application? It is approved or denied or in the still in remove. review. So they will check all the stuff in the state endpoint. They will go and log into the status endpoint with passing the application number, right? Then they will get, okay, if they're still in the review process, your application in the review, if it is successfully approved, you can approve or denied, so that you can status endpoint. It's very simple use case to understanding the asynchronous processing. Now let me show you the Mule code, and let me execute that code so that you can understand completely. Let me go back to Anypoint Studio. Yeah. So here you can see two applications. One is a bank application, and home loan client application. Let me go through the loan client application first. So here in this flow, this is a guy who is accepting applications from the client, right? And this is a loan application. Like what is the, in the input, we send what is the monthly income and loan amount, right? And it generates one unique identifier for each request using UAID, and that unique identifier wrote this entire information with the callback URL also, that is sent to the bank application. Okay. Now the bank application, let me go back to bank application where it receives that request. So this is a guy that receives the request, and after receiving that request, simply put that application to the VMQ. It doesn't do any, this flow doesn't do any processing. Simply just put that in the VMQ, right? And it just send a response back to client like, okay, your application is successfully submitted to the submitted with the loan application number, and what are the loan application number I send back to client, right? And now what happens is this scheduler runs every 2 minutes. I put for our demo purpose, I put every 2 minutes I can, right? Or in real time it might be twice in a day, something like that, and consume the application that we put over here, right? Consume the application, consume the loan application, loan message, and here I am checking the eligibility criteria, right? uh, this is the loan application number, and for this application number, what is the status, is approved or not, right? If loan amount is less than or equal to monthly income to 10 times, right? If loan amount less than the monthly income into 10 times, then your loan is approved, funds will be dispersed shortly. If it is, if your monthly income is less than the loan amount, like 10 times of your monthly income is less than loan amount, then sorry, your application is denied. This is a message I'm constructing over here. And after that, just sending a this response to callback URL, right? So in the request I have callback URL. I got callback URL in the initial request, right? So just put a payload or callback URL, whatever URL I got in the initial request, and then what happens is the response is sent to the this flow, callback flow. Here I got the response of my loan application, and I'm storing that in object store. Like key is the application loan number, and value is the response I got from the bank. And just simply put some logger. It's not required. So this the process done. Now the customer, the loan client, want to check the status of the application. There is one more flow defined over here. This is for slow status checking, right? Is path as status. Then if the object store contains any entry with this loan application number, right? If contains means the response has received from the bank, and we have the status is there in the object store. If the bank doesn't send the response back to the bank, the client application using callback URL, right? In that case, it should be false. If it is not equal to false, we will, if it equal to false, what we will do, we send simple response like, thank you for submitting loan application, your application is under review, right? If bank sends us response back to the loan client application, then this guy come into picture, retrieve the response from the using this application number, and that response we send back to the client. Very simple application. Now, I think this is running. I want to test this one. First, I will do is I submit an application. I submit an application like my requirement is 10 lakhs and my salary is 60,000. Right, my requirement 10 lakhs, 60,000. 60 into 10, 6 lakhs, right? 6 lakhs. But my eligibility is up to 6 lakhs only, but I'm expecting 10 lakhs loan. Let me submit. What happens? I submitted and I got application number. Your application successfully submitted with the application number. I just keep this application number with me. And I will go to the loan status and I check this with the application number. What happens to the application? I think it's properly not copied. Let me go back and copy again. And loan status, application number is equal to this thing. Now send it. Thank you for submitting loan application. Your application is under review. In the bank application, I put 2 minutes as scheduler, right? So the 2 minutes is not over yet. So we didn't respond. The bank from the bank, we didn't. The loan client didn't got the response of the status. Therefore, you are able to see this one. Let me try once again. Once again, let me check a few seconds. I'm sorry. So the bank application, we hit the callback URL, and callback URL flow will store that response in the object store, and this status flow will get the details of the status from the that application, right? Under you, oh, I could have put 1 minute. Okay, I can pause the time. Yeah. Now, sorry, your loan application is denied. The reason is my eligibility is only up to 6 lakhs, but I'm expecting 10 lakhs. If it is uh, my salary is 1 lakh, then I could have get the like, right. So this is the as simple practice you can do for understanding the what is the callback URL, how the asynchronous processing you can achieve in HTTP. Download that, download the applications from the GitHub URL, and please practice. Thank you so much. Happy learning.